Close them in.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm going to call the Rochester Town Board September business meeting to order. You could all stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this our business meeting is on a Wednesday because we didn't want to hold the meeting tomorrow on September 11th. So we typically do meet on Thursdays though. Kate, can you do the roll call?
Councilwoman Alba, present. Councilman Coleman.
Here.
Councilwoman Suisa. Here. Councilman Nguyen is absent. Supervisor Nowen.
I am here. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda, and I would like to make that motion with the following amendments. That we move the resolution for the acceptance of the abstract to the end of the meeting after we do an audit of the bills. And then we will move the parking ticket amendment resolution to a discussion item so that we can discuss and then adopt if the board feels comfortable with that.
Can we also add a discussion about the planning board alternate and the two requests? To have the alternates.
Discussion about planning board.
Hmm?
About planning board, what I'm standing.
Having the alternates sit at the table,
Oh, yes.
possibly having them participate in discussion.
I just desire planning.
Okay, any other amendments?
I do also have another amendment. I would like to add an appointment for the housing committee.
It's on the agenda.
Oh, is it? I missed it. Never mind. Cross that out, please. Have you, Aaron?
Do I have a second for that? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay. First up is, we have the report section of this meeting, and then we move on to our other agenda items. I just submitted the August financials to the town clerk. There's one print copy for the board on the table if you want to take a look at that. And I emailed the August financials. So the summary is revenue for general fund was $175,093.02. Highway fund, $2,551.92. Expenditures, $236,000, $88.84 for general fund. Highway fund was a whopping $427,746.97. No expenditures for capital or ambulance, and street lighting fund was $465.24. So for the supervisor's report, I apologize. I had some printouts that somehow didn't make it. So I'm going to try to remember everything. I am engaged now in two bridge projects. So I'm juggling both of those. One is getting started. That's the Sundown Culvert Replacement Project. I have the kickoff meeting with our engineer on Friday, and we are making good progress in getting towards the letting of the project for the Boyce Mill Bridge, which we are hoping to do before the end of the year, where we put that out to bid. This week, we were lucky enough to receive the benefit of a program in Kingston that's a training program for doing energy audits. So this week we had a team of 5 people doing energy audits at the town hall. This is at no cost to the town. They are doing all of the buildings and will be issuing a report within a couple of months with recommendations with both the energy audit report and recommendations. Today, I got to witness my first blower door test, which was exciting. And in speaking with the auditor, which is Judith Karpova, who was a ECC member for a very long time. Already getting a lot of really good feedback and input, and also reassurance that the town hall building at least is pretty solid as a structure. Let's see. We interviewed some very qualified candidates for the planning and zoning secretary position. I was hoping to bring that appointment to you tonight, but I'm still following up with the references and links for those. So we should have someone filling that role by the end of the month. I don't know what my other items were. So we'll move on to the town clerk tax collection report.
All right, for the month of August, $51,371.36 were collected. Currently hunting licenses are on sale. And we're working on destruction of records through our disposition schedule. And at the end of this month, you'll see a bill for updating our veterans honor roll. I had 34 names added to that for this year. So that's about it right now.
Great. I did not receive a highway report, but I would like to give a huge thank you to the highway secretary, Jessica Boughton. We received the CHIPS reimbursement early this year. And the biggest CHIPS reimbursement for the September payment that I've seen since I've been involved in the town. And for the first time in many years, general fund has not needed to do a cash flow loan to the highway fund to cover that. We might still have to do that because our next payment doesn't come until January. And as you guys know, the highway fund is basically very tight. There's not any wiggle room. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, but I just huge kudos to Jessica. She really worked hard to get that submittal in, and I think it's really fantastic. For department reports, I have a report from the assessors. Oh, and this is a very exciting report because Joanne and Jeremy are continuing to organize the office so they can work more effectively and efficiently according to the Institute of Assessing Officers guidelines. And this week, the storage room was transformed into an office space that will have the appropriate records in it that can be locked. And the entire middle portion of the town hall has been rearranged so that the assessor area includes the door to that office. So we're also now working on clearing that space out so we can have a couple of chairs and put in new rugs and have a little bit of a lobby. So there's a little bit more room now, which is really nice. Jeremy reports he will be doing property inspections as time permits and at property owners' requests. They continue to work on processing sales, entering building permits and certificates of completion. We will be pulling plans in the building department, answering calls, issuing 911 addresses, assisting property owners with their questions and issues, daily assisting the public that may walk in looking for deeds, tax maps, and owner information. Jeremy will be taking a couple of vacation days in the month of September. We received 22 SCAR applications from Aventine Properties and 2 others for other tax grievance companies. They have completed 24 appraisals during the month of August, preparing for small claims assessment review hearings that have yet to be scheduled. That's what SCAR stands for, Small Claims Assessment Review. Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Certiorari. They received 2 certiorari cases, one for a 70-acre property that contains an older 2-story house with a new Cape Cod style house and garages with studio space being constructed on it, and one for a vacant 3.5-acre parcel of land. The town attorney will be handling these 2 cases. And that's all I have. Moving on to board and committee reports. Alexis.
This will be quick because ECC and Ag did not meet since last update. Climate Smart, Erin took most of my updates about it's fine.
Well, you can give more about
Oh, yeah,
why the
the-
energy audit is cool.
Yeah, the energy audit is cool for several reasons, in addition to possibly giving us solutions to optimize our power usage in municipal buildings. We're also earning points towards bronze status for climate smart communities. And the reps that we met with at Climate Smart were Communities for Local Power. So that's the organization that's spearheading this with Judith Karpova. And yeah, that began Tuesday. And the only other update is we are continuing to push forward with work on bronze status. And thank you to Erin for being available to help with that and for dealing with the tight time frame on the energy audit. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right. Over here, I don't have a report on, I didn't get a chance to talk with Constable Miller about, the program this month, unfortunately. I'll try to have it for the next meeting. For the housing committee, they are working on their short-term rental recommendations, to us for this year. They are working they're still doing some finish up work, with some of the people who attended the housing charrette. And some homework that was needed for Tiffany, and our other housing and our consultants for the project. And they've also been in communications with Kai from the county housing planning department, housing section of it. For the charrette follow-up work also, and they are also in communications with him about the Granicus data. That the county gets and how they can help to support the code enforcement office and help the town better utilize it and hope and offer a helping hand to support the office. How they can as a committee. The Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board is still not in existence, so nothing to report there. And for the Senior Youth and Recreation Commission. It's always a long need a drink. The Recreation Department is excited for the start of the Town of Rochester After School program on Monday, September 15th. If anyone is still interested in enrolling, please feel free to call the department at 845-626-2115. There will be an adult painting class taking place at the community center on September 22nd at 10 a.m. This class is currently full and filled up rapidly. We are very happy that the members of the community enjoy it so much and can't wait to offer more classes this fall season. Stay tuned for more dates. Tentative dates for Medicare consultations are October 31st, November 3rd, and November 17th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the community center. Details are still being worked out and more information will be made available to the public as soon as it's available. As always, save the date for Heritage Day, October 4th. And if anyone is interested in signing up for the annual pie contest, please reach out to the rec department as soon as possible. And I just want to say a huge thank you and shout out to all of the staff and Ashley and Bethany for a really great summer program season that came to an end just a couple weeks ago. And to all the participants and their families, and just in general for all the work that they do here for all the classes.
You're here.
Yes.
Me?
Yes, Councilman Coleman.
So like some other people, there's not a lot of updates on some of these, so no updates on ZBA. Planning board, I actually was not able to go to the meeting on Monday. And haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but we've added the discussion on the request for the alternate. I did get a poke about that, which I appreciate. Sometimes we forget things, and so glad we're going to talk through that. Also, I think last meeting we had a letter from them about water concerns and areas of the town that may have lower well yields. That was missing a few pages, so I did confirm that, and so it's been rescanned. I don't know if that's been circulated to the board again, but I'm planning next Friday. We're going to have a a meeting and talk through that, some other issues that I've been noticing with the chair and our planner, possibly a few other people. Ambulance Improvement District, no new updates since last time, although I know on the website, if you go on the website, there's going to be, I think it's an open house for KFAS on the 13th, which is Saturday. So if you go to our town website, you can get details on that. And I think they're just inviting people to attend that, see some of the equipment, meet some members, understand a little bit more about EMS in the town of Rochester. And free exchange recycling, not much new to report there. Everything seems like it's going well, although I did reach out to one of the coordinators and was reminded about all of the hard work that the volunteers do there. And it reminded me of discussions we had months ago about all of the volunteers across the town that sit on our boards, and possibly thinking about what we might want to do if we could schedule an event or something where people could come out, meet one another, and just spend some time together. So I think that's something we should revisit as a board.
Like a volunteer appreciation.
Yeah. I think Jerry had the idea months ago, but it's a good one, and I know we talked about it and everyone seemed interested, so it'd be great to.
Anyone that wants to spearhead that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I need a reminder. I'll write a little note from us. Yeah.
I love a theme.
Charlotte volunteered, I'll help.
I'm happy to play.
So Heritage Day is October 4th. It is rain or shine. We are still accepting vendors, applications, and if there's anybody that feels like they can contribute in any way that they would like to participate, feel free to reach out to me. The HPC has decided on their historic preservation awards that they give out at Heritage Day. They decided on 3 properties, and they are in discussion of the idea of forming a landscape preservation type award. They want to look into doing a little more research with that for standing gardens and different growth. And they were also in discussion on how they would like to be able to contribute to the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War that's going to take place next year. Worcester County is really interested in all towns that are looking to put on some sort of event, or I was thinking of reenactment, but that's where my head goes. But that's all I have to report for now.
Great.
Are they gonna do a display or something like that? Cause I have a Revolutionary War, like cavalry sword from my
Right.
ancestors.
I think it would be great to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I remember the,
George.
I remember,
Hey.
okay. All right.
We're only singing.
I remembered the last item from my supervisor's report, which is, my assistant Stacy has been working on the pro housing certification. And we've made a lot of headway. It does require the submission of every single building permit for the last 5 years. So she's compiling all that data. She already got all the zoning code spreadsheets done, so just an update on that. So now we're moving on to the public comment portion of our meeting. We reserve time at every meeting for members of the public to address the town board. For this public comment portion, we start with anyone who's physically present to speak first, and then we move on to see if there's anyone who's joined us via Zoom that would like to address the board. During the public comment portion, we ask that the board be addressed and that it not be that this is not a dialogue between members of the public. Additionally, we do not engage in dialogue as a town board during public comment. We may wish to respond to comments or questions at our next agenda item, which is town board member time. So we do encourage people to stick around for that. However, once we've got to that section, unless a board member requests it, we don't engage with the commenter. So it's we're keeping those two things separate. So with that, I will open the public comment portion. Are there any persons here that would like to address the board? No? Okay, moving on to Zoom. Is there anyone who's joined on Zoom who'd like to address the board? Hey, did you want to address the town board?
No, not at this time.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
So we will close the public comment portion of the meeting. And then move on to town board member time. Do any board members have anything you'd like to bring up? That's not addressed anywhere else? It's your special time.
I do just wanna bring up something that's not particular to our town, but particular to our country and our community and ourselves as a whole is the events that happened today in our country and the rise of gun violence. I don't think has a place on our school campuses of any age, and my heart goes out to any of the families affected by the recent gun violence that has been going on. So just wanted to make sure we took some space for that.
Thank you, Charlotte. And I agree completely, and I also feel that political violence doesn't have a place either. No matter what.
And I don't think anyone should have regardless of their opinion and that they're exercising, no one should have violence ensued on them like that. So just very sad for the country today. So my
Yeah.
heart's out to everyone affected.
Thank you.
And not to be too much more of a downer, I'd like to also recognize the fatalities from the accidents on 209 and
Yeah.
another serious accident. Please, everybody out there, do not be in a rush to get where you're going. It is dangerous. Just please be safe and think of all of your families.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to resolutions with that. So first item, acceptance of the minutes. I'll make a motion that the town board accepts and approves the minutes of the August 6th special meeting, the August 14th business meeting, and the August 28th, 2025 workshop meeting as prepared and circulated by the town clerk.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Did we have any donations? You are the best. Thank you. So I'll make a motion that the town board accepts the donations. Received for the town from St. Pauli Textile in the amount of $133.30. And the Rondout Valley Education Foundation in the amount of $958.96 to pay for the Fort Delaware summer program trip with appreciation to the donors for their contributions.
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. So we've moved item C to the end of our meeting. So moving on to resolution B, general fund budget modifications, the colorful spreadsheet that I placed in front of you is the snapshot of my budget modification spreadsheet that covers today. Unless the board wants me to read this, I will do it as presented, and then if you have questions, we can handle that in discussion. So I'll make a motion that the town board approves the modifications to the 2025 general fund budget as presented by the town supervisor in the capacity of budget officer.
Second.
Any discussion? I can give explanations if you'd like.
It looks like you're just balancing.
Yes, I am balancing. And the lines, we have some pools, like the fire inspector line, we're not using that.
Yes.
So I was drawing that down and you can see there's, I'm aware of little places where there's funds that I don't think we're going to spend and places where I know we're going to overspend, so I'm just fixing that. And the refuse and garbage, that we had budgeted for an operator position. So just watching that line, we need to move those funds over so that we can cover payroll for the last quarter. The attorney line, the supervisor is spending more on attorneys than we had budgeted, but the town board is spending less. So
Second, do we have a motion?
yep, okay, so I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so we have appointments of the after-school program. Charlotte, do you want to make this motion?
Okay. So the town board,
Oh.
Huh?
Olaf.
the town board of the town of Rochester hereby reappoints the following individuals to the after-school program effective September 15th, 2025 as budgeted and allocated. Jennifer Connor, Lisa Babcock, Lacey Freer, Samantha Ridiak, and Sheila Brown. Be it further resolved that these appointments are contingent upon all required pre-employment clearances and certifications being satisfied.
Second,
You can add?
in discussion.
Second.
So I'd like to amend that motion to add Eliza Betke.
How do you spell the last name?
It is THEETGE.
Second.
Okay, so we have, the amendment was motion seconded, so we'll vote on the motion as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
I'll make the next one.
Okay, great.
Upon the recommendation of the appointment committee, the town board of the town of Rochester hereby appoints Amanda Salud to the Housing Advisory Committee for a term expiring December 31st, 2026, effective immediately.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Next motion is an amendment to the Employee Practices Manual. I'll make a motion that the town board of the town of Rochester hereby amends the Employee Practices Manual as follows. To add section 3.1.5 compensation for shift cancellations, non-emergency with the following policy language. 3.1.5 compensation for shift cancellations, non-emergency. Department closures for non-emergency reasons may occur per the provisions in section 3.1.1. When a closure is issued with 24 hours or less notice by the department head and results in the cancellation of a scheduled work shift for the department's employees who are otherwise able and ready to report to work, the employee shall receive regular pay for their scheduled shift or the remaining hours if the closure occurs after the shift has begun. Department heads should document the closure, the reason for the closure, indicate why the shift had to be canceled, and submit to the town supervisor as soon as possible, but no later than Monday at 4 p.m. following the payroll period the shift occurred in. This provision applies only to same-day non-emergency closures initiated by the town and does not apply to employee requested absences, employees on approved leave for the canceled shift, or cancellations communicated more than 24 hours in advance of the scheduled shift. Closures and shift cancellations must not be used as a means of providing gift or perk to employees. Be it further resolved that these amendments shall take place effective as August 1st, 2025, and copies shall be distributed to employees.
Second.
Discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Great. This covers a very specific use case that was not covered in our manuals. So I was gonna review the parking ticket amendments with the board in discussion. Then if we feel comfortable adopting those tonight, we can. For that. So then we blew through this agenda. We typically have another public comment portion after, usually that's like a whole hour later. So I'll just see if, is there anyone that wanted to participate in our final public comment of the evening? Nope. Okay, so we will move on to discussion items. In front of you have a local law that does not have a number that I would like us to consider, perhaps be ready to schedule a public hearing at our next meeting. Recently, the state adopted legislation that allows the town to do a tax exemption for the creation of accessory dwelling units. It's a 10-year program that exempts the full value of the ADU up to $200,000 from taxation, and then does a gradual decrease of that for the remaining 5 years. This law, there's a form that gives the general instructions. So it's based on this and the enacting legislation. Ulster County has adopted this. I don't think the school board has adopted it yet, so this would apply to the portion of taxes in our town that are the town levy. So I drafted this up. I wanted to request that the board take a look at it. I would like to adopt this before next year, just so that we can also, people will know that they can do these projects and that they won't be impacted by the increase in value that this would provide on their home for that time period. Any discussion or comments or requests or thoughts?
And ADUs cannot be used for short term.
Correct, and that is a requirement of this law also, but it's in our law, so we don't have to do anything.
I think this is great. I was gonna come to the board and request it anyway
Oh, great.
next month, so when I have more time to research it. So thank you for drafting this already, Erin, because when I learned that we could copy the taxation rules that the +1 ADU program had for exemption on the ADU value, I was ready to sign us up the day I read it. So thank you for drafting this. I'm very excited for us and for our community to hopefully promote more.
And it looks like anybody can build this. There's no threshold in terms of the parcel value or anything like that.
Correct,
Correct.
yeah,
Just regular.
it's just whatever the zoning regulations are, for us, so you can only build one and they have to be a certain size.
And not to exceed 200,000 in market value.
Well,
If it does, it only gets
Yeah,
that benefit.
yeah, you get the benefit up to that amount, yeah. So, and then there is a provision, the one change I was gonna run by Mary Lou is, because we're doing a reval, I thought this is important. If a change this is, this section 6, application administration. If a change in level of assessment occurs, the assessor shall adjust the exempt amount as required by law. In the law, if it changes by 15%, so I was gonna ask Mary Lou if that language was sufficient or if I needed to put the 15% in there, but that was the only question that I had so far, but I think this is great. Someone recently came to me who is trying to build a housing unit on a vacant parcel and was talking about how the assessed value of that increase would cost annually almost $7,000 above what they have been paying, and that's sort of what made me remember that our assessor had told me about this a few months ago, and I thought, we are trying to encourage people to build housing to be used as long-term housing. And this is one way that we can assist people who are willing to take that investment, on their own.
And what's the process if somebody wanted to do this? Would they have to get designation from the planning board before construction? or-
No, we made it so it's building permit only.
Okay.
That was really important
Yeah.
to me. The only case I think is if it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot. There's one case
Yes, there's
that,
one case that it has.
Yeah.
Site plan.
Okay,
in a certain district.
great.
yeah, okay, glad we have full support. The short-term transient rental cap information follow-up. I have a list of requested items. The only thing that I'm a little certain of is I do believe we only have 67 permits. I double checked that.
Non-owner occupied, you mean?
Yeah, so that means that if we set the cap at 2%, we will have permits available. We'll have 20. So,
Based on the increased housing stock.
no, just based on the decrease in the number of active permits. Because we had,
Well, no, because
106.
81 wasn't the proper, that wasn't 2% then. That's way more than 2%.
no, 86 is.
86 was 2%.
Well, we will assess all that
Yes, with the
information, but if we're
assessment.
using the like 4,000 number, I think it's like 87. It's more than 67 is all I know. But I confirmed that, right, the building department is only managing 67 permits for this year. So we'll double check all the data, but
Yeah, I'd like to know how many,
because that means we had attrition.
does the 4,000 include our condemned and dilapidated housing?
I don't believe so, but
Yeah, I wanna double check. 'Cause
yeah.
If it does, I'd like it to not add in our number, we shouldn't
yeah,
be.
I'll double
putting
check with the assessor.
Value, unviable housing.
I'm pretty sure the way the coding works is it has to be like
Oh, yeah, it's the.
actual, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it has
I'll
to have
double
a
check.
Occupancy certificate for that, and
Yeah.
like a clear inspection, that's what I thought too, but I just want to double check.
Yeah.
Cause I think. I'm just picturing when I had to like do the data myself the 1 year and pulling out all the different types of parcels on the
Yeah.
list, so. Thank you.
Okay, so that is gonna be like a bigger chunk of our meeting at our next meeting, which is the 25th, September 25th. Councilman Coleman? You requested a discussion?
Yes, yeah, so I think I'm not prepared with a change to the actual code because our code defines. People remember that the alternate is not able to sit at the table with the planning board. And so planning board had requested at a minimum that the alternate at least be able to sit at the table so that they can be better able to absorb the information that's being discussed. They also asked whether the alternate could participate in the discussions, even though they wouldn't actually be formally seated by the chair. And I know we had a discussion about that. If I'm remembering correctly, the board had no issues with the alternate sitting at the table, but there was some question about whether or not they should be allowed to participate. So I think all we need to do is make a proposed modification. I don't know if it's done by resolution or if it's local law.
It's a local law.
Yeah.
And I fully support having someone sit at the table. I absolutely think they should not be able to participate unless they're seated.
That's kind of where I sit on it too.
So that I think would be a pretty simple local law because there's in the law, in our town code, it says that they have to sit at a table and we can just
Facing the
Yeah, just take out the one sentence and be done with that.
like say that they may sit at the table.
Yeah, so
Do you wanna, can you prepare that draft?
yeah, I can draft.
Okay. So that is in our town code, not the zoning code. It's the one that's planning board alternate, I think. And we should look at if they're not the same, we should do the same thing for zoning board.
I will have that time.
Okay.
And we agree, not participating in discussion.
Yeah, I think we agree that you can ask provocative questions and when you're in that position and to influence the business at hand, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Great.
so next up, all right. I don't know what happened. I had printed out two versions of the parking ticket form. I only made one of them made it with text, okay? It's like, this is the text. The other one,
Yeah, it's always.
The only
that
one
one, your
version?
hand was on it. And then the one that looks like the form, I did print, but it's not with us. So I'm gonna walk you guys through.
So this is one version?
That's one version. That is, okay. I copied that from the Ulster County Sheriff's notice of violation parking ticket form. So this is like verbatim, this form. I was corresponding with Mary Lou quite a bit about this today. She was out of town until this morning, and so she and I didn't, she did say the two versions that I presented would do. The only issue that I have is in their version, they have to respond either by mail or in person by the court date. And then in our town of Rochester vehicle and traffic law, it states that they have to respond by mail within 10 days. So that's the only major change from this form. So if we felt,
That doesn't seem like it.
if we felt more comfortable just going with the language of this form, I could do that and then format it. I also made all of the updates that we thought we needed to make to the previously adopted form, which had some of the language that is in our own law. We also should take a look at that law because it says that you have to submit the fine. And one of the things that we are without that parking bureau, we can't just make someone pay a fine. The court sets the fine up to a certain amount. So we don't want our tickets to say that people have to mail in a specific fine amount. That's how the sheriff's one is worded also. That they will be contacted and told what their fine is.
I've never been contacted over what my fine for a park.
I
It's
know.
crazy to me.
Well,
Like,
we don't have a
15
parking bureau and it is in. There is legal back and it's in this ticket form too.
Well, apparently I didn't know a lot of towns' money and could have not paid them for 30 years.
Let's see here.
Like an overnight,
So
never.
the one that the form,
Oh, I am. I'm suing every town now. I have precedent. Thanks to the town of Rochester court, not paying my parking taxes.
now the one that was in the form that we adopted. There, I could tell you the changes I made to the form that we've already adopted, which is that I added the language owner of the vehicle bearing license. I took away the fine amounts. So there's a chart that says you're hereby charged with the following, and it lists our town codes that have to do with parking, and then it has a blank. Or if it's like a state or like a different law that's not town. And then it has a section that lists the court date. And then in all the plea entry, so that one has the 10 days that you have to enter your plea by. And then it says if you wish to plead guilty, complete the plea sections below. Before it said and send your fine in, so I took that out. And then in the I plead guilty that you check, it says I plead guilty to this parking infractions specified above, and I elect that this charge be disposed of and fine or penalty fixed by the court. I request the court to advise me by return mail of its decision, which is the language in here. And then it has the instructions for mailing and the instructions for visiting in person, and then the section for the person to fill out on their own. So it's very similar to this, except it doesn't have this like application to handle parking infraction by mail. So I don't know, you guys, we might not be ready to make a decision. We might wanna, you guys might want me to actually be able to see this. I was hoping that we'd be able to make a decision, but I want it to be right, so we can take 2 more weeks if you guys would like.
Yeah, not to be redundant, but, or make extra work for you, but will we revisit making a parking bureau in the future? What's the steps involved?
I mean, I think it's worth thinking about,
Yeah.
definitely. It sounded like it was a local law process, and Mary Lou was gonna report on it at the September meeting.
And do we have somebody we can kind of model that on?
Yeah, she listed off the towns that have them. And in that case, then that's when you do have a fine amount and the fine
Right.
can just be paid.
Because I think like ultimately that's gonna be the most seamless way.
I
of
agree.
handling things,
Yes.
less work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as I was going through it, I felt I don't feel like I've provided you guys what you need in order to vote on this. Is that,
We can wait 2 weeks.
so I will get these digital copies out to you and,
Also, there's a typo at the second to last sentence.
oh yeah,
It says I please, not guilty, not I plead.
oh, okay. My clerical skills
No,
not living up to that.
I read it normally and then I went back and I was like, wait, was that an S?
Okay, so then let's talk about our workshop meeting. We are going to be setting the cap for short-term transient rentals. We'll be hearing from our housing advisory committee. We'll be reviewing all the data that had been requested and confirmed, and we also need to decide on, we need to like make sure we're all clear on what the housing unit number is and that all questions have been answered. So if you guys have any other pressing questions and you would like me or my office to find those answers, please send me an email about that so that we have everything we need.
I just want to give you fair warning, I will not be here.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at a housing conference.
Oh, okay, so let's, you and I should get together then and make sure that all your considerations are, you could even draft a memo if you want to, okay? Cause I know this is one of your our housing.
Yes, yeah, I
Voice.
was gonna say if we table it on October 1st.
Our October meeting is later, like, anyway,
But we have to have a lot of October meetings.
we're not doing that this year. Unless you really want to. Okay. So we're setting the cap. We are going to have a version of this law that we can either discuss or set first, public hearing. You are gonna present a, alternate local law.
2.
Hmm?
2, unless it's the same.
Okay. We will most likely need to. So I got our insurance quotes back for the health insurance. So I think that we should keep the plan the same, the cost is going up 6%. We did a full financial review of like the plan that we have and the cost to employees and the cost of the town, and it is the best coverage for the best price. The reason why I'm bringing this up now is number one, budget, and number two, we have to sign our agreement in October. So I want the board to be able to weigh in on that. The one thing that I'm gonna try to prepare is the way we do the cost sharing. I wanted to take a look at those numbers and see if the board wants to keep our policy the same or if the board wants to change that. So right now, if you're hired after 2018, the town pays 80% of your monthly premium, but 50% of family. And I just wanted to look at that with you guys.
Wait, so 80% for an individual, 50% if it's a family?
Yeah, so we,
Yeah.
number one, administratively, that is like, I hate doing that because of the math formula. Not to be
Yeah,
like,
that's really
but also administratively, I also see how much that costs. I'm wondering, is there a simpler way to do it? I don't know. So is there a simpler way that would be like a little bit better for everyone? But I just wanted to look at it with you, and we can elect to leave it the same. But I thought it's worth reviewing. Because that's another way to change our health benefit, is to look at the cost sharing that we have with the employees.
Mhm.
And then we need to understand the cost to the town that would have.
It would be good to understand if we had the same percentage for families, what that would be.
Oh, like what? Yeah,
Cover the employee plus family at the same percent.
I mean, I can, yeah. Our pre-2018 employees, that's how the plans are. So it is currently, that's a longevity perk for those employees. So just something to consider when we change policies in that way, we have to think about. So there's a bunch of things that are a little bit on the back burner that I'm gonna try to bring forward, like one at a time. So there might be a few things like we had a pretty long discussion about the traffic things. We talked about having a more in-depth review. I have not made any headway on that. So there's that, and it's deep budget season, so that's really what my focus is on. And the tentative budget is due September 30th. It gets presented to the town board by the 5th, so and then we have to have a preliminary budget by the end of October, because we have to have our public hearing on that no later than the Thursday after the general election, I think.
Yeah.
So that's those are our hard state deadlines for that. Anything else that you guys would like to see on the workshop meeting agenda?
Can we have at least discussion item, because I should hopefully have all the bids back that we need for the back here. By then, I still wanna get a chance to sit with Ashley and Bethany before then too, so at least a discussion item, cause I don't get a chance to schedule them, I wanna have time before we vote.
Okay, are you comfortable, do you want me to add that to this agenda or to the October agenda?
Can you do the October one?
Yeah.
Cause that makes me feel better that I'll have time to,
But you're not
plan
gonna be
with
here.
them. Huh?
But you're not gonna be here.
In September, yeah.
Well, you guys could have had it to just like see them and approve them if I.
Oh, sure, that's total, that's what I was asking.
I prefer to do it in October, so
Okay.
that I have time and then I can. Make sure all of our playground ducks are in a row.
Okay.
We briefly mentioned something about digging into grant procurement.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what your timeline preferred is on that, but I'm ready. I have the bandwidth to do some work.
Oh, great. We should just meet because I don't have bandwidth.
Yeah, all right, let's see
Um,
if there's anything I can do. You said Stephanie was working on, or
Stacy.
Stacy.
Yeah. So, and then, yes, we should schedule a time next week
Okay.
to sit down and talk about that. That would be fantastic. I don't know when the pro housing certification happens, but I think that's gonna open up a lot for us, probably in time for next year, because I don't think we're ready to apply for those big ones that are due November 7th. I did the webinar today for the New York Forward.
That's not enough.
Oh, yeah, we don't have enough time for that type of project. That type of thing. Okay. We. Anything else? Trying to think. We should be getting budgets from like EMS and fire districts also this month to include those in the tentative budget, so. It might be good to make sure we schedule a meeting in October with everybody to review that.
Any updates on server migration or email changeover?
No, I have.
So we have to do our audit now. So what we usually sit here and the board audits the vouchers. So we end the stream. The only resolution we will do is at the end of the meeting, we have to do the resolution that's on the agenda for payment of abstract 9A of 2025. But because we sit here for about 45 minutes and don't do anything, we have a practice of not streaming that portion of the meeting when we do it. So with that, I think we will adjourn in memory of those lost in the recent gun violence that is plaguing our nation, and those that we've lost in recent vehicular accidents that are part of our town. Yes, please. Or we'll adjourn the meeting in that at the end, yeah. Okay.
Wait a second.